Is it time for our churches to pull the plug on our church live streams? Many people have been proposing this idea, and I thought I would go through the data that is being used and give you a few reasons why I would say the answer is a definite no. In a survey by Pew Research in 2022, 11,000 people were surveyed as part of a midterm election political survey, and then tacked on to the end with some questions about religious practices. Of those 11,000 people, 28% of them indicated that they have attended online, which also kind of included watching religious broadcasts on TV. And you may have heard the takeaway that this data suggests that your live stream is really just a convenient supplement for those who are your inner circle people at your church, or that in-person attendance is actually what drives your online attendance. Those same people are crossing over. Or possibly that the people watching online really are just kind of your homebound, maybe sick, can't make it to church people. And is it really worth it to go to all the effort that we do week in and week out to broadcast our services? Well, let's dig a little deeper into the data, and I'll give you my thoughts. Now, I do struggle a little bit with basing our entire strategy around the survey results that was based around midterm elections largely, and then tacked on these questions at the end, but it's the data that we have. So let's talk about this first idea that your live stream is really just a convenient supplement for people. What I find interesting in the survey results themselves is that when these people, the 24% that have attended online, were asked about their satisfaction, 94% of them indicated that they were very satisfied. There was 3 levels of satisfaction, and it ranged in there, but most of them were pretty satisfied with attending online and the experience that they're getting there. And just to specify, here's the question. Thinking about the religious services you watch online or TV, in general, how satisfied are you with them? 27% extremely satisfied, 40% very satisfied, 28% somewhat satisfied. And so the idea that people are attending online and it's just this second-rate experience for them and that they're kind of tired of it, actually, based on these results and what the data says, isn't quite true. And an important thing to realize is that this survey's goal is to understand people's habits post-COVID, the return to church post-COVID. And what I think is really interesting is that some would say that in-person attendance drives online participation. But I think you can also say that online attendance drives in-person participation. Your live stream is not the back door to which people exit participating in your church. Actually, in the culture of 2 out of 4 Sundays is considered regular attendance, the live stream is a major connection point and making sure people are still engaged in the body, even when they can't be here in person. And I would encourage you to base your strategies off of your own analytics. Even if it is anecdotal, it is what you're dealing with, not off of survey results from 2022. So in our case, the vast majority of our new families that are coming to our church, which our church has doubled in size in the last few years, the vast majority of them, when we ask them at our Next Steps class, have you been watching online? The answer overwhelmingly is yes. So dive into your analytics from YouTube, Facebook, however you're streaming. For us, we've actually seen an 18% growth on YouTube alone in the last 6 months just on our live streams. The average view duration is around 20 minutes for each person that's watching. So it is engaged people taking a part in our church online experience. So that's a little bit of the data, but let me give you some of my just thoughts about live streaming and why I think it's still really worth it. And the first one is this. In the age of AI, in the age of curated content and feeds, the live stream is the final frontier of uncurated content. One of our highest viewed pages on our website is where our live stream lives. People want to see and be able to experience what your church is actually like before coming in person. And now that gets into a whole other arena of what is the goal of your live stream? To reach the masses and the world? Yes, but also to be a connection point to those looking to come in person. Yes, it's both and, not either or. And so the positives in that is that we don't necessarily have to overproduce and make it this amazing, huge technological feat that people can experience online. It needs to be an authentic expression of what your church is like in person, so that way when people do attend, it matches up. So let me ask you a question. What if God is using your live stream more than you realize? Just a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody text in Forgiven to 94,000 that was watching online. And that doesn't happen every week. But when it does happen, it reinforces to me the fact that this is real people hearing a real gospel message that would not hear it otherwise. We will do a service for 50 people all across the nation in our churches with full nursery, greeters, tech, bands, and everything in person, and all the costs that come with that. But yet we balk at the idea of just 50 people joining us live on a Sunday morning live stream. Why is that? I think it's something to consider. Now, just because I'm for online, it doesn't mean I'm against in person. I love the gathering, the physical gathering, being able to hear people sing with me. There's nothing like that. But as Craig Groeschel has said, we can't let our preferences overtake our theology. Craig was talking about the metaverse and how they're trying to use that even to reach people with the gospel. Maybe you've considered cutting the live stream just because it feels like this extra cost that your church can't afford. Well, let me ask you this. Can your church afford the cost of not having a live stream? I believe the cost is minimal for most churches. Most of us already have gear in place and systems in place from previous years' experience of live streaming, that the cost to keep doing it week in and week out monetarily is really not that high. You can do a great broadcast on the cheap. I mean, listen, that's what this channel really is all about, is like finding budget-friendly solutions to our tech ministry needs. But I believe the live stream is probably the cheapest option still to reach new people with the gospel and to maintain connection with those people who call your church home. And how about this idea that the major part of our audience online each week is really just made up of homebound people, the ill, like we should keep doing just something special just for them? Well, according to this survey results, only 16% of those who watch online said that's the major reason that they do it. And I wonder if some of the tension we're beginning to feel with this as church creatives is just the weariness that you begin to feel of doing something for a long time, especially when the results and the connection are a little intangible at times, it seems. When you're in person, you hug somebody, you say hello, and it feels like you're making a difference. And it is true that building those connections and allowing people to feel part of the community and actually engaged participants is tougher online. And I think that during COVID, maybe we were sold this idea that, hey, live streaming is the next thing that's really going to grow your church. And then when maybe your church didn't grow from it, you began to question, is this actually effective? And doing a fully produced live stream, it's not sustainable by yourself. So many of my tech friends out there, you are going it alone and you feel like you don't have support or volunteers. And I would just say you need to dive in and find some help, because it is worth it. Do not kill your live stream and then say, we're going to actually record our services because we want the audio to be great. People are highly satisfied. You don't have to do that based on these survey results. Don't do all of this post-production, create a podcast. Only, I think 17% of people surveyed even listen to podcasts. So really, you're putting your eggs in the wrong basket possibly by doing that. Your live stream is a content generation engine for your church's outreach efforts. I mean, the live stream is a front door, yes, but obviously social media is like the front steps where people are, coasting by your house and doing a drive-by look-by. And so your live stream is going to feed those efforts. And it's a once and done thing. You have people volunteering during the 1 hour of the service, and then it's there and ready to go. You can cut clips from it and pull content from it, and it's done. And you don't have to pay somebody $500 a month to make 2 reels for you. You can do that pretty easily yourself. There's lots of AI out there. And by putting in that effort to live stream 1 hour on a Sunday morning, not only are you impacting all of those who join you live, yes, but then all those who will follow up during the week and catch that sermon. And you can repurpose all of this content now for your social media platforms. Now, I don't think live streaming is a complete substitute for the gathering, but it is a great supplement for your church. And supplements are important. So before pulling the plug on your live stream, evaluate your own circumstances. Are you just kind of feeling weary? take heart. Don't grow weary in doing good. In the right time, we'll reap a harvest. Now, should we kill systems that aren't working? Probably, or readjust. Maybe you've been going it alone too long and you need to recruit some fresh help. Maybe you need to re-strategize how you can more effectively use the live stream to get people to be engaged participants and not just spectators. But for me, we're going to keep on live streaming. I just think it's the best way to actually keep people connected and give them a chance to actively worship with your church, with the body. When you post a sermon later, people are just, going to consume that like content. And I don't want to create a bunch of content consumers. There's so much content out there already that are better preachers, better music, whatever. But if somebody is looking for a church home, a place to be a part of, I think the live stream is the best way that we have currently to help people do that when they can't be here in person. So what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, we can do a lot of great things as a church, but let's remember to do it all for God's glory. All right, we'll see you in the next one.